Testing one, two, three. Boom. Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine the kingdom, power, glory, yours now and forever. Your Son, our Savior, who sacrificed himself on the cross for our sin debt in full, past, present, and future. Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Max, you want your bone now? Happy birthday to Max. Max is 5. Anyway, my son had his wash down. He is out of the Navy. Well, he's in as a reservist, but he's out. And happy Memorial Day for everybody coming up. And a lot to cover. I wish I could do. I'll do some more scripture another time. I mean, I haven't been on the air in a long time. I had a severe case of gout that was given to me again by the wonderful medicine that another new medicine. I'm not going on this. I've already wasted 6 months of my life with these prescriptions, and I'm kind of done. I'm I've I'm done with it. I just the side effects are too great that they're doing a slow killing of me. Anyway, so I'm going to do a short show today, not long, but I want to discuss a few things. No sound. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. That's the feed, dude. So that's not from. Yeah, I always check. That's why I check it. That's an actual cell phone connection, even though it's delayed. The reason why I do that is because I want to make sure that I'm being, you know, out there. But what I wanted to do is because I haven't been back in a long time, is I wanted to just open up the floor and ask you guys what you wanted me to talk about. Um, I'll make these comments about things that are going on. Number one, okay, number one, DeSantis served. A little story about DeSantis. Okay, he won the Little League Championship, the World Series of the Little League. Very good baseball player. Came from a Tampa family and not rich, self made. Got a scholarship to Yale on a baseball scholarship. Was the captain of the baseball team at Yale. Did so great at Yale that he got into Harvard Law. Okay. Um, graduated Harvard, went into the Navy, became a Navy JAG. Won't fill you up with his career, which is extremely honorable, but won several medals, one of which is the Bronze Star, which they do not give out in Cracker Jack boxes. served with a SEAL team in Iraq. Okay. Um, so no matter what you want to say, no matter what you want to insult, that always has to be on your mind that you're insulting a person who served, who didn't have to serve, who didn't turn away from a draft when there was one, and whatever. Okay. So just putting it out there. As you can see, what happened of the Durham document. Oh, a lot of things were listed there, similar to Comey. Isn't that amazing? But nobody is in jail. We do know that the laptop has been from at least 2018. There have been no charges. We know that there was investigations put up from the whistleblowers, and we also know that the Brandon DOJ has all those investigations have been evaporated and ceased. Interesting, right? Similar to the Clinton investigations that were ceased on the emails and the other security. Oh, yes. And now again, we know about all the entire persecutions and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, no. Just because somebody supports it supports him doesn't mean anything. Okay, he did not turn around for that support. He doesn't. That's not him. Okay, these guys, of course, never Trumpers are going to support him. That's not. That's not the. You're making. Look at his record. Look at the thing that really pisses me off, and the reason why he's running. You ready? Why he's running? You ready? 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 Trump is why he's running. Trump has got himself to blame. Okay, he could have had this guy as a wingman. He could have had this guy as a vice president. He could have had this guy as anything. All he had to do was congratulate him on his win instead of insulting him from day one. Okay. And DeSantis did not pick up that insulting gun. Still, really, as far as I'm concerned, hasn't. He hasn't. And have you seen the interview? I've seen the interviews. Have you looked at his voting record? Trump is lying about his voting record. Said the latest one that I'm seeing here on Long Island all the time, like 24/7, is oh, DeSantis wanted a 23% sales tax increase, blah, blah, blah. What he wanted was 23% sales tax on specific, on not food, not insurance, not rent, okay? But for everything. You would no longer pay taxes on property, income, anything else. State. They'd all have to look at the bill. They'd all have to get it out of that one pie. They would have to get it out of that. You would not have to pay anything. So basically, you ready for this? Phenomenal tax savings. Phenomenal. Okay. Here alone in New York, I'm paying about 56%, something like that. Okay. You add it all up. And you across the country are paying a lot as well, even in states like Texas. Because if you look at your phone bill, if you look at your gas bill, if you look at all these other, look at your phone bill, $3.99, no, could be 98, 97, doesn't matter. Every month. Where does it go? What's it for? To the FCC. Yeah. Who gets that money? What are they doing with it? What's happening? If they're getting all this money, think about how many phones every month they're getting this. Just this. and still they're borrowing $53,000 a second. The United States government today, right now, as we speak, $53,000. This president wants he wants another. What's higher than a platinum card? Black card? I don't know. I'm not up on it. He wants that. He would want a no limit. I mean, to what end? He's not one of them. DeSantis has never been one of them. Okay. I know this for an absolute fact. Absolute fact. I have spoken to people who know him in the Navy. I do not know him. I do not have the honor of knowing him, but I do have the honor of knowing a lot of Navy people who have served with him, SEALs, and the amount that he needs to. I'm going to tell you something right now. If there's ever a debate between Trump and him, Trump's in big, big, big trouble. He's in big trouble because if Trump even walks anywhere like that and opens up that, because I can tell you right now, DeSantis hasn't talked about it. But guess what? He will. He will talk about it, but he's not going to talk about it unless he's asked specifically about it in a specific situation. And if, oh my God, if he has to explain that citation, Trump is over. Okay. Over. No more Trump after that. No more. So Trump better not go there. Trump better not go there. And even in the latest interview, all he did was sing the praises of Trump. That's right. Didn't see. That's not what the other end's going on. You guys better look and look good. Okay. What he and nobody's and there's still nobody's talking about the real threat. Nobody. DeSantis is not talking about it. Trump's not talking about it. Nobody's talking about the next Carrington event. Nobody. Even though it just missed us again by I think it's 9 days. Yeah. No. He won by a landslide. And he even admits that the first time he won narrowly. Sure. And he gave him credit for that. But unlike that's not what happened the second time after they've had him for governor for 4 years. He won by 20 points. I have. I've tried to get to Elon Musk specifically about the next Carrington event in every way or shape, including I talked to Bart about it, the AI who actually recognized it. Yeah, gee, yeah, we should really just work on this. Yeah, nothing else matters, people. Okay, wake up. Nothing else matters. You're going to be plunged into the 18th century within the next 5 years, if not sooner. Okay. So if they don't do this, my plan, and it's not just my plan, but if they don't do this, if they don't put that up in the O1 position and put that shield up, we're really screwed. Okay. Because we'll be plunged into the 18th century and there will be nothing you can do about it. Nothing. There won't be there won't be anything. There won't be any electricity for 2 to 5 years. I said it right there. Think about it. Think of it. And that's worldwide. Okay. Right now, we get 100 times the amount of food we get out of 1 acre that we used to get back in the 18th century. That will be no more, and that means that you're going to see a 95% fatality rate in the world on famine. That's what should be discussed. Okay. Believe me, I have a better shot of getting to DeSantis on this. We already got to Trump on this. And he looked at these items that we put in there. I've been over this letter many times with you. I am not saying that the attacks on Trump. No, I'm saying the exact opposite. The reality is that he knew from the 2016 elections that there were he's president, that there were things that were going on that were not only not kosher, that were technically a Charlie Oscar Utah poll created by the Charlie Indiana Alpha. He knew this, and he should have gotten ahead of it then, so that by the time the 2018 elections come around, you don't suffer the same problems. That's not what happened. We lost the 2018 elections and we lost the 2020 elections, and they're because we're, yeah. And unlike Trump, who signed executive orders for, like, look, the only thing that's lasted that Trump did is the Supreme Court. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. That's not the case with DeSantis. Let's look at what DeSantis did actual legislation and signed it into law. The fight that he's having specifically with Disney is a woke specific agenda. Look it up. The fact that they're saying that the company's saying, oh, it's costing state of Florida $2 billion and 2,000 jobs is an absolute lie. Look at their stock. The reality is they don't have the money to do that project. That's the reason why it's not going to happen. Of course, they're going to turn around and blame it on DeSantis. Is DeSantis to blame for how the Little Mermaid did? Is DeSantis to blame on these other woke projects that are coming back with horrible results, like Lightyear, like these other things? No. And now, from what I hear, Indiana Jones 5, disaster, an absolute disaster. Again, another thing. And what Kennedy has done to Star Wars, that's got nothing to do with DeSantis. Yeah, no, people. I'm into that group because of Amber Ways Productions. I know what's going on, okay? And this is just like Target. This is just like Budweiser. This is just like Miller. Coke almost did it. They please. I mean, the disaster of what's happening. Have you seen what's happening? Do you understand what's going on? Light cannot give it away for nothing. They can't give it away for free. They can't even do that. What's the what do you think the reason is, Jim? Do you see what's been going on with the F-16s? Do you see what's going on with this? Because they're going to block communications. And the phones that they are setting up specifically are to work without any of the regular carriers like Verizon or AT&T or anything like that. The resets are this is Biden signed it into law. Nobody's talking about that. What are they talking about? And what did DeSantis do? DeSantis said that the Fed digital currency will not be legal to be used and cannot be used in the state of Florida. He can do that. You know why he can do it? He did it in the legislature, the right way to do it. He's banning the CCP from buying any land. He's doing all the right things. That's here. That's here. There's been. Do you want to know what's insane? Because of course I watched the Supreme Court. Supreme Court just unanimously, unanimously, I'll say again, unanimously voted down the EPA. They said that the EPA is unconstitutional in their powers. What does that mean? You ready? It's going to come back. This is going to affect, I'm going to tell you something right now. This is going to affect all the agencies. The ATF is getting all their power from a 1968 ruling. And the Bruin case in the state of New York, who our governor is trying to fight, she's trying to change it again. A constitutional thing where they saying, "No, I'm sorry, we have the right to buy guns. We have the right to carry weapons concealed. Okay, you can turn around and the police department can make a demand saying, um, can you see? Can you function, handle the have you shown safety and kind of like what I've been saying. Okay, basically, and we're not talking about ownership, we're talking about carry, concealed carry. So we're not talking about ownership, we're talking about concealed carry. Okay, that means that anybody can buy a car, but if you want to drive the car on the highway, you got to show that you can accept if you're a undocumented person, which they give you the thing, and they do not verify that you've had a test, and you can do whatever you want in our state. Please. No, here you have to show, believe it or not, to get your driver's license, you have to show your social security card, which is a violation of the social security card, by the way. If you read the back of it, it specifically says cannot be used as an identification thing. Says it right on it. But you have to do that here. You have to do that if you want to get a passport. You have to do all kinds of stuff. Dictating to your views. Then I'm not dictating anything. I'm telling you fact. Fact is that the Bruin case has specifically set up the right for you to have a gun and protect yourself with it outside of your home. You have a right to conceal carry that weapon if you've shown that you can safely have gone through specific courses to handle that function, and then you're not blind, things like this. Okay, this is what the law is. Now what happened with our governor is that she basically denied that, because all of us legal gun pistol owners, which I am one, who wanted to get a full carry license, but we were denied that because we didn't have proper cause. Okay, we had the result in just getting a sportsman for so we can wear it concealed to and from the range. We can wear it concealed hunting, but we cannot any other thing we cannot do that. And we still have to abide by the New York Safe Act, that and when we're doing that, we can only have 7 rounds in the gun. Okay. Those are facts. Hunkel, basically, we were all gonna she said, no, no, no. You have to do this, that, again, making it impossible. Okay. Now, of course, what's going on here in New York City and Long Island? New York City and Long Island, there's been a rash to these Chinese pieces. They're about, I'll tell you, I'm going to break this up. They're about this big. It's a piece of machinery. I'd probably be banned if I actually showed you, because I don't have it. But even if I showed you a drawing, anyway, it goes on the back of a Glock and it turns it into a fully automatic weapon. I'm not kidding. And they're selling them on the street for like $15. So you have these 15-year-olds and other gang members that are walking around with fully automatic machine guns, and you hear them, and there's shootings and shootings and killings have been up 600%. There is no go zones now, specifically at night, that you cannot go into. You you're an idiot if you do. um, this is the thing about the nuclear war. Okay, we have. I'm just gonna say this is wrong. This number is wrong. But let's say we have 35 subs that are out all over the ocean. We don't know where they are. You're the enemy. China, you don't know where they are, and Russia, you don't know where they are. Nobody knows where they are, really. Even the Pentagon doesn't know where they are. What? You want another one? Go up here. Come here. Okay, then leave me alone for a while. Those submarines have 144 separate MIRV weapons that if they don't hear from us, just us, even through the ELF, and I'll talk about that or other means at specific times. Basically, if they don't hear from us, these things automatically launch. Okay. Um, yeah, that is the only thing that's stopping World War III, as far as I can tell right now. Okay, and no matter what, um, that those things really they can't be stopped. There's too many of them, and you don't know where they're coming from, and no matter what happens, that's going to happen. So, um, and a long time ago, I worked it out that basically the fallout from something like that will be so bad that it'll be better to be standing at ground zero than to have to go through the aftermath. So I don't think it's ever going to get to that, but I'll tell you, they're sure pushing it. And I do hear that um, it's a lot of celebrities are going to their bunkers. So for whatever, it's not going to do them any good. It really won't. Um, it's worse during the quarantine event to be in something like that. What people don't understand is if you ever looked at one of those sparkers that just snap or any of those barbecue lighters, it's called a piezoelectric effect. You get two pieces of quartz hitting each other. Um, it's even a bigger effect when the electromagnetic field shifts approximately 180 degrees, which is what you get with a Carrington event when that wave hits our magnetic field. Look at it as these bar rails that are like this, and as each one of them break from the pressure of this wave coming in, they do a tremendous induction to um, the, the surface through the planet. That is amplified by quartz and other types of rock. Okay, that's why if you read the papers now, that there is a very good chance that there is an earthquake component, which means earthquakes are triggered by coronal mass ejections from the sun. Often you'll see storms intensify, and often you'll see earthquakes and other fault lines specifically, from that pressure and that energy from the sun. This is now it's not a conjecture, it's not theory anymore. Now it's fact. It's been verified. Yeah, it's actually 60,000. 60,000, um, it's 60,000 pounds. And from what I hear from other people, that's not the only case. It's actually higher than that on many things. Talk about the 8,000 Chinese per month that have been coming in since November. Um, I'll say nothing, but I'll say this: that I know, they all these other specific conflicts have occurred on other lands and soils. That's not what I hear is going to happen. I hope. Believe me, I never wanted to be right about this. I really didn't. I think um, that DeSantis would have been a fantastic running mate for Trump, because the fact that I do not see Trump winning Florida without him. Um, I think that there's no question that Trump is a lightning rod for many things, and not of his own failing, but as of late, yes, of his own failing, of his mouth. He never, ever, ever should have violated the 11th commandment. Reagan's 11th commandment, Trump violated it. DeSantis did not, but Trump did violate it. And Trump spoke of that many times, also reiterating how Republicans are not supposed to attack other Republicans. He should have been spending his fortune and time as vigorously as he's been doing against DeSantis. He should have been doing that to support Republicans in the Senate and Republicans in the Congress get elected in 2020. That's what he should have been doing. He spent more money on attacking DeSantis, and you can look this up. This is fact. This is not whatever. It's not, as Jim F says, a I'm dictating to my viewers. No, this is fact. Look it up. It's fact. He spent more money on attacking DeSantis than he did supporting those other Republicans in the 2020 elections. And if he did that, who knows? Who knows how that would happen? I can tell you right now, we can't do anything. The so called victory of 2020, not really a victory. If you don't have the Senate and the Congress, you can't do anything. Now, if we had the Senate and the Congress, a lot of things would have changed. There would not be this that's going on. You realize we're not even this whole thing about where you guys will run out of money on June 1st. Yeah, we've run out of money. Okay, is that what you say? If you open up your checking account statement and it had a negative reading balance of, say, a negative balance of $3.1 million, I'll put it in terms like that, and you can't get any. The banks have told you no, no, no more mortgages, no, no more thing. What do you have to do? You have to file something. What do you have to do? Think about it. It's not hard. So how do these politicians turn around and say, "Oh well, you haven't run out of money yet"? What kind of mentality is that? That's the mentality of a college student who's sitting in a hot tub in a dorm having a party, and he's got his finals on Monday, and he's into debt up into his ass, and he doesn't care because he doesn't think he's going to pay his loan back or whatever for some reason. That's the mentality of that. Is that a person you want to go ahead? You want to take that person who's making these types of decisions? We call them 18-year-old people, 17-year-old people, and give them a credit card with no limits, which is what Biden wants, or Brandon. That's what he wants. Look, people, they've already ripped you off, both Republicans and Democrats. They've already done this. They already went into your pension funds, your Social Security funds, and they took out everything that's in that fund and they left these worthless. It's legal. They left a worthless IOU. Okay. They don't even want to talk about that. And all that 31 trillion, that's not part of it. Oh, that's not part of the 188 trillion dollar liabilities. Go look it up. I'm not lying. Go look it up. How are they going to do that? Every single FICA tax that's collected today on payroll is paying Social Security now that was already paid and put into the coffers back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, 90s when I was with all the money that I made in my life. Do you think I'm going to ever get that back? If I put all that money into just simple savings bonds, I would have gotten a much better return on that. That's not what happened. They weren't a, and then what did my state do? What did California? What did the whole Fed do? They spent that money illegally. You would be put in hand if, let's just say you did this to any other corporate pension fund. You'd be put in handcuffs and thrown into jail for embezzlement. You can't do this. There was a movie that was made, it was called Dumb and Dumber. Okay. That's exactly what our government, both our Republicans and Democrats did to get into office and the continuous thing. When they ran out of regular money, that's exactly what they did. And it doesn't show up on the books because they think that all these worthless IOUs, just like on the Comex, there is 800 on the Comex right now. There's 800,000 pieces of this paper to every one real piece of silver. 800,000 to this. That's what's pushing the price of these metals down. All this worthless paper. Okay. Oh, there's going to be a reckoning. And they're doing it so they can continue to, they taking out loans. They're doing everything they can to buy this up. If you look for this, you can't find it. You can't find real silver 1 ounce pieces. Oh, you can find 10 ounces, 100 kilos, bricks, things like this. But if you find a 1 ounce piece, it's not priced at 23, it's priced at 37 or higher, or it's sold out. I'm not worried about something's going to happen, and it's going to happen in the worst place. And why? Because chaos matters. That's how these people do things. They create an event and then they capitalize it and then they'll put specific rules on it to flavor it and spin it any way they want. Okay? Look at the media. They've been 100% wrong about Trump. All these things are fake, and you haven't seen one single possibility of a retraction. They're doing the same thing now with DeSantis. I'd like to see any one of them turn around and actually read the site, and you could do it yourself. Every single Bronze Star for every single military Navy personnel has a citation. Every citation is public domain. You can go into it yourself. His voting record, which I have posted on my Patreon page, you can go into it yourself. You can see exactly what he voted for in his years in Congress. You can see exactly what he voted for, what he signed into law, into the legislation, and his governorship in his last 4 years before his reelection and governorship, and what he's been doing now. It's not a secret. It's public domain. It's public record. Does the press want you to look at it? Does the Trump campaign want you? let's talk about the truth. Let's talk about Truth Social. What the title of my thing is. They just banned China Uncensored, which I watch all the time. Funny guy, great guy, talks about what really is going on in China. You want to find out what's going on in China? And I think look up China Uncensored. They have a YouTube channel here. They have Rumble. They have all kinds of things. China Uncensored. Truth Social banned them and didn't specify what they. Oh, but if you look at the last video that they did in the picture, that oh yeah, and you'll see. But you see, that's not the case. No, people, I'm sorry. I I was once tremendously in the camp of the Trump thing. I am not in that camp anymore. The man's been making incredibly bad decisions. You can turn around and say anything you want, but why would you attack a guy who wins his state by 20 points, who won it by great legislation against abortion, great legislation up for guns, great legislation against taxes, all these things were great. Why would you do this? Why would you violate the 11th commandment? These are things that I was specifically asking. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. Do not underestimate DeSantis. Don't do it. Toe to toe. I've seen him. He dominates media and he's young. He's 45 years old and he has a beautiful wife that he never missed a chemotherapy treatment for her, no matter what they were doing, no matter what was going on. Oh, you're going to lose this election. No, no, no. He stood by and went and did every single treatment with her. That is going to say a lot when you start peeling peeling this and start looking at things. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to you yeah, yeah, yeah. So my son is out of the Navy as far as active service. He's now an FAA test pilot, and he's now living in Texas with his brother. Um, so obviously they're gonna cut. Nobody owns like hardlines anymore. Nobody knows radio. Nobody knows. So if they cut off the cell phones, they cut off internet. People are going to be standing around dumbfounded with nothing. But like I said, nobody is talking about the big thing. Nobody is talking about the the fact that uh, a, a Carrington event will probably cause a Kissinger event. What's that? Okay. Have you seen the movie Gravity? If you haven't seen the movie Gravity, you can see it now for free. See the movie Gravity. You only have to watch the first 5 minutes. That's a Kissinger event. That will happen in the next Carrington event. It's gonna cause those satellites to start hitting it. There's so much up there, and once you start hitting each other, then they're breaking up. It's a whole cascade event. Okay, you're gonna lose satellite communication. First of all, you're gonna lose it in the radio interference that's generated and the lighting up of the ionosphere. The ionosphere of the planet will be so electrified that nothing will be able to penetrate it this way. That's the first thing. The next thing is that you'll get that wave, that tremendous electromagnetic wave, 80,000. Well, it'll be 80 Tesla, but it'll be like sitting in an MRI. Biologically, it'll be like you're in an MRI, and no, it won't push metal through you, things like this. No, that happens because the MRI is actually going this. That's not what's going to happen. Um, but it's that type of power. It will take this stuff, okay? It'll take your phones, it'll take things like this. And if they're hooked up, I don't think it'll burn your phone out directly because it's too small. But anything that's attached to a wire that's, say, over a foot in length, it'll definitely be able to induce probably 45,000 volts of inducement charge to it. Um, which means it'll overload our transformers. That's the big thing. And we have a lot of them, but basically the big ones, the 9,000 of them in our country that provide the main power step down areas of voltage, it'll blow them to oblivion. And we only have two or three of them to replace them, and it takes months to replace them if you have them. It takes years to build them. And unlike in the past, they were manufactured here. I think they're manufactured in Malaysia now, Vietnam, someplace, not here. Okay. And um, yeah, so our electrical system will be down for 2 to 5 years. No satellite communication. Okay. It's a bad day. Um, and the thing is that the sin of this is that it can be avoided. It can be avoided. If we have the technology to put up a shield at L1 to avoid this. Okay, I think we could develop the technology to prevent a pole flip. Okay, um, I really do. I think we can protect the planet from a micronova event. Not now. We don't. We don't have the tech. I'm telling you, if we put everybody together like a moon project, we could do it. I think necessity is the mother of invention. I really do. Somebody was asking me where John is. The last heard, um, I think he's crossing the Pacific to the the French islands, in the Pacific. I have no idea. Yeah, because he went to it's one of the and this is just supposition. He was at San Blas. That's on the other side of the canal, and so down to the tip of Las Pas. That's like a staging point to do that. And now is the perfect weather window to make that 2,800 mile 1 month at sea trip to the to that area. So I've not. The only reason why I know about it is because I've wanted to do that my whole life. I don't want to do it now, but it was, as a young sailor, you read books, you look at these, trips and things like that, and there's these atolls out there and other types of islands and things, and yeah, I'm not saying I I I I wanted to do it. Okay. um Now, not so, I know 28 days on a boat sailing. No. Okay. I don't mind 4 days, maybe 4 or 5. No, not a month. Any other questions? I've been not on the air for a long time. Again, I had to deal with a very acute case again. How acute? Picture this: take a chainsaw and cut your ankle off by its connection to your left foot, and then try to walk on that stub, and that's what it felt like. Yeah, it was that painful. It was just ridiculous. I couldn't put any weight on that leg at all. Not even. Nothing. Okay, nothing. So it would be a feat and I would be sitting here in excruciating. I couldn't do it. And then when I was up to doing it, and then I tried to get on, I couldn't get on. So, but I've been trying to get on since 1 o'clock. How long have I been on? 50 minutes. So yeah, that's a lot of nitrate to go missing. Okay, and I already think that the media says there's been 1,500 derailments. That they're lying. Okay, there's things on the tracks that allow these things to happen, and then they don't happen like you think they do. These other things that have been happening, I think, are outright, no offense, but sabotage. You'll notice that the toxic cloud. Now, first of all, what they should have done was they should have brought two LOX cars in before they did this. And if they brought two liquid oxygen cars in and then do it, you would have had a fire about 5 to 6,000 degrees, which is what you would have needed. At that temperature, you wouldn't have had this black smoke kind of thing. You would have had a much better combustion, which would have produced a lot less toxins and phenols. What that cloud has done is that thing put a tremendous amount of poison and rained on the Amish in Pennsylvania tremendously. I don't think that was not on purpose. It would be. I said think. That's a tinfoil hat. I think it was on purpose. That's my thinking of it. I think they're definitely going to use. They're definitely gonna. They see what's going on. They know they have limited time. China has extremely limited time, not only from Brandon, but from their own youth and their own problems and from their own abuses. So, yes, their navy is extremely formidable. Their other technologies are extremely formidable, and they've caught up with all of our stuff. So, if you think we don't have any technology over the Chinese. They've stolen it from us in every single quarter. The only thing that we have is our personnel. So the training and the deployment of our personnel, and they've been doing extremely um, good at driving as many as they can out of unqualified personnel out of the Navy. I mean, if you've seen these latest recruitment ads, I rest my case. So that's something that you. At any rate, do you have any other questions? I'm not seeing anything on here. I'm just gonna type this, make sure it's still working. It's yes, it is still working. I'm down to 9, so it's amazing. You guys don't want to hear that. I'm telling you the truth. Trump should never have attacked DeSantis. It should have 100% of his funds have been attacking and continue to attack Biden. That's what he should have been doing. And other Democrats, Schumer, AOC, that whole end. That's what he should have been talking about. I think he did a fantastic job on his interview on CNN. He was doing that on CNN, and I think that's what he should have been doing from day one. I think it was a mistake for him to attack DeSantis. I think DeSantis in a nationwide election is more electable than at least here in the blue states specifically. Why? He doesn't drive. Trump pulls out the TDS like you can't even believe. Um, it's like a button. Um, DeSantis, the people aren't buying the media that's growing against DeSantis, and it will come out. So what's going to happen is that it's going to his Brown Star citation is going to come out, and what he did in Iraq is going to come out, and what he did as a JAG is going to come out, and what he did in Florida is going to come out, and what he signed into law, and his congressional voting record. All these things are not going to be a negative. They're not. And if you don't believe me, look into them yourself. It's all public record. So I think that it was a mistake. Instead of embracing this gentleman as an ally, I think it was a mistake to declare him as an enemy. But that's my personal opinion. And anyway, so if I don't get any other comments on here, um, I did. Yeah, I have that. I don't know if I'm going to go into it now. My voice is it's not breaking. It's not breaking up, but it's not doing the best either. Are there any comments? Rick Riley is on. Rick, you're on the air.
I'm on the air.
Yeah, I have my show.
Here.
I'm doing my show.
Pardon me?
I'm doing my show. You're on the air.
Oh, well, God bless you, everyone.
Yeah, and happy Memorial Day.
Well, thank you. I hadn't seen you on the thing for a while. I was just calling to tell you that I've talked to my doctor, and I've had so many appointments, that kind of thing. But anyway, I do need prayer.
Well, everybody here, please pray for Rick. They are hearing you, Rick. They are here listening to this conversation. So we're all praying for Rick. I had a bad bout of gout as well, as you know, and I went through that, thank God. And Good Faith was trying to get a hold of you to do a prayer with you as well. And yeah, we need to do that. So I hope your wife is well. And
She is.
then
I got all my studies and my doctoral dissertation done and sent in. And I had a phone call from the bishop today that he's sending it to some other people to read, and presumably graduation for me will be in July.
well, congratulations, doctor.
Oh well, it doesn't put any more money in your pocket. But anyway, yes. I'm so happy that you're on the air, baby.
It took me it took me as many minutes as I'm on air to get on air, because I've had this conversation. A bunch of people tell me how shadow banned I am. Yeah, because nobody wants to hear the truth. Nobody wants to hear the truth. So
yeah, okay. Well, I'll get off and let you go.
All right. God bless. Be good.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your prayers.
All right. God bless. Have a good Memorial Day. He's from Pennsylvania. He's that pastor I talked to you about. name's Rick Riley. We did a fundraiser for him. Anyway, he fell and broke his back. So we're in constant prayer for him. He's getting better every day in every way through Jesus. And that's very important. But I think I'm at an hour. I'm down to 6. I obviously people you don't understand. It's not that I don't like Trump. That's not it at all. What I'm saying to you is I'm saying that Trump should not do what he's been doing and saying. That's what I'm saying. He should have been um he should have just all he had to do was just congratulate DeSantis on the election and go from there. He didn't have to keep coming up with these things. And then these memes and then these attacks. I want to tell you something. If you don't think Elon was tremendously embarrassed, but I'm telling you right now, DeSantis broke the internet and broke the internet with Twitter. Twitter was so overwhelmed with the amount of people that wanted to see DeSantis, they lost half their servers. Okay. We're talking about Twitter here, folks. So where they're saying there's was a 500,000 was too many. Oh no. You ready for this? It was about 25 to 30 million people worldwide trying to tune into this. And a lot of them got rejected. And a lot of them crashed the service. And that's what really happened. So again, he wants you and others want you to think whatever. I think this played was a very bad mistake. I think that he should have embraced it and he should have reached out to him as his vice president. If even if he had any inklings, I don't think DeSantis had any inklings. I think that DeSantis was worried because, like me, he's worried and concerned that Trump will lose again. And that's the fact. And I'm not talking about the fact that there was a Charlie Oscar Utah poll. I'm not talking. There was one back in 2018. There was one back in 2016. We're talking about that nothing has changed and it has to be addressed. At any rate, since my views are dwindling, I want to wish you all a happy Memorial Day and I hope that you're safe and I hope that um, you have safe travels and that you accept the fact that Jesus Christ paid for your sins, past, present, and future, and that you should go to Him, repent, take Him into your heart, and read John. And if you have any questions, please comment them. And my Patreon page, any other questions, I'll be more than happy to ask. But anyway, God bless. Bye.